This is Tilak. Welcome back to Visual Builder tutorial. In our last tutorial, we've seen how to create, edit, delete data without using wizard. And previously, we also see the same thing with wizard. Today, what we are going to see here is we are going to develop a more pages. So, like every time rather than changing the page as a default page and testing it, I'm going to create a kind of a navigation list. And this is a kind of a link which will be attached to new pages. That's what we are planning to do that. And we also going to create a new the CRUD operation with the one more set of table. Uh, the difference what we are going to do here is and this time when we are editing a data, creating a data, we will use the same action rather than an independent action. So we'll avoid the duplication of the same work. That's the one thing we can do that. The same way when you are calling a page for editing, creating, deleting from that master page to the child page, there also we can use the same kind of action rather than having three actions. Okay, that is also we can do that. Then that the creation edition part, there will be a master and parent. I mean parent and child, and we can see how do we create. Okay, this all we kind of we don't complicate. We try to create as simple as possible. Then in the future lesson we will add more complications. Okay, so nowadays you can create a child only when the parent exists. We cannot create without parent. That kind of things we will start with that. Then slowly we'll go. We can we can see that how we can create a parent and child together. Okay, the reason is that the child need a parent ID. So as of for this lesson, we create only the parent-child parent ID is there. Okay, what else? And we can also see that validating a data, if there is a child data there, we would not let it delete. Okay, that can be done in the PO object trigger also. Or that we can have the restriction on the deletion part. But we can validate that in the UI too. Okay, that we'll see that how we validate that. That's it for this lesson. Probably this lesson also going to take a two or three parts. Let's see. Okay, let's we get into that. And more things. I'm not going to show you everything. I'm not going to repeat whatever we done it in the previous lecture lessons. That I'll create myself and show it because there's no point of repeating the same thing again and again. Okay. Now let's get into developing a new page. Okay. Let me minimize this part. Okay. Now what are we going to do here is I'm going to go to the application. I'm going to use the main page. Okay, main start page. I'm going to use that. Okay, that I already have a. Okay, I'll just remove that. I'll start it again. Okay. Now there is a list is here that probably I also have actions. I delete all the actions. I'm deleting everything. Okay. We'll open the main start page. I believe that is the empty page for the timing. So what we are going to do here is we are going to create a navigation list. Okay. Before that we also create a heading. That would be nice. Okay. Heading going to say that. Okay. Heading will be 6. Okay. VBCS beginner tutorial. Okay. Tutorials. Okay. That is what we are going to do that. Okay. Then we go for a list. Okay. List, there is a navigation list. Just we drag and drop that there is a navigation list. Where is the navigation list? Okay, there's a navigation list. We drag and drop here. So it created a 3 item. First one what we created here is we say that person now. Okay, manage person. Okay, so that is called manage person. Then the second one we call it manage statement. Okay, manage statement. So once we have the manage statement, then manage person. Okay, we did a manage person, manage a statement. So statement data, statement setup. Okay, that's a statement setup. That's the third one. Okay, so here when you are coming here, now we can go to design also. This is a valid person here. Now if you're calling the action we can call it on take. What is the action? This will be calling a like link to link to manage person chain. Okay, so this will link to manage person chain. Okay, so now we are going to call navigation. Okay, navigate. Okay, call manage person. Okay, so what is the page we are going to call it? We have only the manage person as of now. CRUD version we are not going to do that, so that's all we are going to do it. Okay, uh, that's it. Now then we are going to the main. We are make it as a main start as a default page. So now what is happening here is this page will always call that that the navigation page. Then we can call whatever we want to call that. Okay. So every time we don't have to change this property for our testing purpose. We go there. Now you take to the managed person like you can edit or you can create. Okay. Now what happened? Uh, for this tutorial, I have already done a few work. Basically, I don't want to repeat the same thing again and again. So I created a manage statement, and also I created a CRUD statement. The manage statement basically is a table of that statement, statement object, and the create basically create is created from the grid. I also created a button, but the button is not linked to the grid page. Now, what are we planning to do here is in our previous session, like previous tutorial, we created three different actions. In this tutorial, we are trying to minimize the code. There will be a one action which is create which will be called by all the three. The same way, when you are coming to the CRUD also basically going to call the the save button will call the same action which will do a create and edit. That's the whole idea of this one. Then we also for this page we also create a child. The period will be the child of the CRUD statement. Okay, that is the whole thing we are going to do that. Now what we do here is first of all we attach that statement. Okay, into that one of the link. Okay, now what we have a manage statement is here. Am I right? I can go here. I can do it here. Manage statement. I'm going to go to the event. There's a click event. On the click event, I'll call hyperlink statement clicking. Am I right? Statement clicking. That is fine. So we'll have a call chain. No, we are navigating it. No, we are not calling it chain. We are navigating it. Okay, call statement, the statement, okay, navigating to statement, that's fine. So manage statement. Okay, now what will happen is here this will automatically enable us to move from the main or the route page to manage statement page. Okay, now this is what this is there. The create works fine. There's only one column as of now. Then we'll add a child. Now the edit doesn't work, delete doesn't work. Now what we are going to do here, as I said, there will be one action, the create action, whatever the action is that will be shared by edit and delete. The same way, this button will share the save and or like edit this one. That's all we are going to do it now. Okay, let's get into that now. Okay. Before we are doing anything, what we need here is I'm closing the manage statement. I don't need a manage person. I don't need a CRUD person. I need a manage statement. Okay. Now, we need a two variable. One is that the mode and the statement ID. Okay. I will go and do that. I create a variable called okay CRUD mode string and create a new okay statement ID. Okay. Create. These two are parameters. One is a mandatory and defaulted. This is a required defaulted with C. Okay, like what we did last time. Okay, this is the parameter, but it is not mandatory because when you are creating it, it doesn't get anything. Okay, so that is ready from our side. Now then we go to the manage statement. How do we call? Okay. Now we get into this action first. Okay, action, navigate to create statement, navigate to we say manage statement. Okay, or CRUD statement. Okay, CRUD statement. Check. That's easier. Okay, now what are we doing here? Okay, here we have a two parameter. Now what we do here is we also create a two parameter here. Mode and mode create and there is a variable statement ID. Okay. Now what we do here is this is also input, like this is required. The same thing we do required. This is okay. This is enable. Okay. Now now this action has got a two parameter. Okay. Now the action parameter will be like passed from a UI itself. Now what we do when I go to the chain, now I have to let me go here. Okay. Now that the page has got two parameters, am I right? That will that whatever the variable that will be assigned to that page. Okay. Now let me go here. I see here. The mode goes to get mode, statement ID goes to statement ID. Now this is how it now works. Now the UI is calling the action. So the UI will pass the parameter the value to the action. The action stores that into the variable will be passed into the page. That is how. Now we are getting into the page designer action. Okay, now this is the create action. All right. Now how we pass it? Here, the mode is there, mode is hard-coded C, statement ID we are not passing it here. Okay. Now what we do here, we come to here, edit page. Before edit page, we are coming to the edit page. We have to have a, there's a two things we need to have it here. Do we need it? No, we may not need that. Let's see how does it works. Okay. Okay, I'm creating a custom. On a click, that is right. Okay, navigate to CRUD statement chain, select the chain. Okay, the mode is update. The statement ID is, let me get the exact value from that CRUD the CRUD person. Okay, that is, we are passing a key to that. So that is is a key, basically key of the line item key. That's what we are passing here. Okay, now let's see here. No, I want a managed person. Okay, not a CRUD person. Okay, I'm going to the design. Now let me close that. I need a much bigger page. Okay, let me look at this one. What is passing here? Events. What do you need? I need a button. Event. Okay, this is what I want that. Okay, the event detail value key. That's all I'm looking for that final statement. Okay, now that's it. Okay, now that is done. The same thing will happen here also. So we are basically calling the same action on click. Okay. No. So this is I made a mistake. Right. Okay. I'm just deleting every excess. I know that which has to be deleted. So I'm going back to my page designer. I'm deleting this one. I don't need this one. Okay. I believe this is happening in a button rather than this is happening. That is wrong. It should not be on an image. That should be on a button. Okay. But I'm deleting that. Okay. I'm just copying this value. I need that. I'm just deleting this part. Deleting it because somehow like I click the image. No, I supposed to have a button. It should be on a button. Okay. In custom event, not a new action. Okay. Select navigation to this one. That's all. So that update mode. Add a statement that is nothing but okay. Okay. Now the same thing will be happen here. We are coming to button here. New custom event. OJ action. Navigate to that. Okay. Delete mode. Delete mode. And this one. Okay. What is happening here? Okay. So now the work is done. Now how do I know that parameter is getting passed properly or not? Now what I do here is I put a okay, I put a fire notification. That tells me what is coming in. So just for testing purpose, okay. So here I send a mode. I put a mode here. I put a mode here. Then here I put the key. Okay. I put the key. So now when I'm running this one, I know what is getting passed in. Now still that the CRUD page is still doing that create action. We haven't done anything. When we haven't populated data, we haven't like done anything. It's just only how we are calling it. Okay. Okay. Now I know the create should works fine because there's no this past. That is fine. Now let me look at the edit. How does the edit work? It is not doing anything. So let me take this out and go back. The event is not happening at all. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's causing this issue. I don't know. So basically that is what causing the issue. It is. Okay. Now what we do here is I'm going back to that this one. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me get the variable and pass it to that. Even detail original. Let me take even detail value key. There's no value at all here. Even is there, the value detail is there. No. All this original event is happening. Okay. Now let's see how do I find out, like no, I'll tell you. how it gives this kind of here. This let me finish this part, then I'll come to that. Okay, the current it has got a current key. This is also I can pass it here. Current key also applying to me. Okay, current key is yeah, the current key is applying to me. Or I can also pass the statement ID. Let me see how does it this works. If this works, then like we can use that percentage here. Okay. Yeah, it is working fine. So current key is the right, like yes. Now we go here and also fix that part. Current key button. We go button here. D is mode. We go here. Current key is here. Like maybe I take this out. Take current key. So the current key will go here. Okay. So we are like now we test that too. Clear. Okay. Now let's see. Okay, that is perfectly fine. So what we do here, we go to that action events. Action. I don't need this part. I delete. Let me go and delete that. To first selected this also we don't need it. We are not going to use it anymore. So I also don't need the variable current statement. I can go and remove the variable. Okay. Now the only thing I need to do here is I go to action. I go here. So I don't need a notification because I don't need further. Now the page works perfectly the way we expected. So there's only one event which is shared by create, edit, delete. That's all for this tutorial. I try to make it a little smaller. Then the next tutorial, what we do here is we basically populate the data and make sure that delete and it works fine. And there also we are going to use a single source of button. Like rather than having a two button, we have a one button that will call. Okay, that will call that like save. I mean the save function for create and edit. That we will do that. After that, what we do, we add a child page, the period here, so the period will act. Okay, well, we'll create and like delete the period. That we will do that. Okay, as usual, if you have any comments, let me know. Put like some if you have a question or something like that. I don't know. You guys likes it. I know. I have a like I'm not good at the language, but I'm trying to give a the best possible way I know, the way I understand that product. Let me know how do you like it, and if you know something better way of doing it, let me know. Thank you.